please welcome the CEO of United Airlines, Oscar Munoz, and Time's Chief Partnerships Officer, Susanna Schrobsdorff.
Well, hello, everyone.
It's a quiet crowd.
It's very quiet. I am here with Oscar Munoz, who has been the CEO, we've corrected that, of United since 2015. United has 90,000 employees, and it serves 190 countries with its partners. Is that
60
correct?
countries.
60 countries. With your Star Alliance. That's it.
No, sure. Okay.
Yeah. He is one of the very few Hispanic CEOs in the Fortune 100, and we're so pleased you could be with us today to talk about how you're transforming United, and in both a technical and a human side. So
the whole Hispanic thing, it's like I really long for the day when it is the expectation rather than the exception that we have today. So we're working on across the board.
Yes.
You just saw Me Too, and I always say, and I borrowed this from somebody we work with in the Special Olympics, Tim Shriver. In a world that's constantly divided, we choose a world united.
You see how you work that in there. That was so you and I talked a couple of days ago, and we talked about how stressful flying can be. Not only for the passengers, but because everybody's on their way to somewhere important, And you were talking about that balance between safety and kindness, and the work that you're doing at United to elevate both empathy and caring. Can you talk a little bit about that and what you're doing and why it's so important to you personally?
Listen, the world is stressful. All of you fly. You're all experts at my job. Thank you for that. How do we make it easier, right? How do we make it seamless? How do we make it to a point where you actually feel like a human being, that what the product you purchase, which is our service, that you feel like we actually want to provide it to you? The process and the logistics and all my issues and complexities that I face in getting those aircraft in the air safely and securely, those are my issues. Your issues, you trusted us to take you to a place that's important to you. So how do we make you feel, every customer, every flight, every day, feel like it's something that you want to be? And what's difficult is that we have 90,000 people in 60 different countries and many varying conditions and issues that we've all faced as travelers. So we've initiated a concept. We call it Core 4. It's not important to go into too much detail, but the central core of it is something called caring. It's like, what does caring mean? Lovely question, because I'll answer that question every day, all the time, with regards to that, because caring, at the very sense of it, is caring for yourself, caring for others, customers and employees alike. And our world is so full of policies and procedures and rules, it just feels like we're always saying no to you. No, you can't switch seats. No, you can't bring that bag on. Sometimes, no, you can't bring that 6-foot peacock aboard. But that's a different conversation. So.
Well, I was interested in the program where you took all 25,000 of your flight attendants and brought them to Chicago, and instituted interactive workshops where they were able to learn new skills. We called it, what did we call it? Emotional reskilling. And I just wondered, how do you teach caring? What do you do to teach empathy and caring in a staff that's, harried and frazzled as all of us are?
Yeah, first of all, you set it as an expectation,
yeah.
Right? It's like, listen, we need to be this because our customers, that's going to be a differentiating factor over the time as to where you pick and who you pick to fly. This concept with our flight attendants, we call it backstage. And it's less about reskilling or presentations. It is about just the simple, I have a big phrase that I always use, proof, not promise. So I can talk about all the need for us to talk with each other and work and understand each other, but bringing them all together, 26,000 of them over the course of a year, and you may wonder how we get that many people together. When you do it in large, intimate groups of 800 to 900, 34 times in a year. And the 2-day process is about really making a personal connection with each other. So they understand, they see. I have such a distributed workforce. If you think of it, there is no big factory floor where we can address folks. There's no, I mean, everybody is everywhere, and they get called to go work on this aircraft at this point in time, and the incredible logistics to get pilots and flight attendants and food and that aircraft on that seat for you on that particular, these things are booked 6 months in advance. So it's a lot of complexity, and we get absorbed in that. So this is a way to bring human caring and connections back. And what we do over the course of 2 days, not as much of a reskilling, but a communication and proof. We run videos about how these caring, heroic moments that people have done. We answer questions about the things that concern them, and we bring them backstage, meaning backstage. There's reasons why we do the things that we do that not everyone usually understands. It's an interesting business because you have, like most businesses, you have a huge collection of investors that demand a certain thing. You have, of course, your customers, you, which should and get the service that you paid for. But then I have a very large employee base that also wants to feel like they're cared for. And then, of course, we have our community. And all of those things have to coexist together. And so what we do is we bring them together, and we have a couple of days, and it's been going terrific. And again, the very end objective is for us to achieve a common perspective. And perspective is an interesting word in the fact that you don't have to agree. It's just I understand your viewpoint and you understand mine, and somewhere in that concept of perspective, we come to a middle ground and agree. Leaders like ourselves should build bridges, not walls. And that is not a political statement. That's just a common sense of things that seem to divide us nowadays. And this is a great panel. And thank you guys for having this. It's been amazing to watch. I'm sure. Can we give them a round of applause? Because it is the collection of people is awesome. So.
Well, when it comes to, we might as well go there. Tell me a little bit about your background and why empathy and why caring for others and building those bridges is so important to you personally, and how you brought that in.
Yeah. To be quick, you have to be genuine about anything you do. I grew up with a family of 9 immigrants. I was a dreamer before dreamers were even a phrase, I guess, a long time ago. And growing up in a large family, Latinos are naturally familial and connected, but a lot of us are. And when you grow up with 8 brothers and sisters, 5 sisters to be exact, you learn a lot of special skills in life. And so part of that comes from environment, but it also comes from this family united, which I got sick a little bit after taking the job, and it was pretty hit or miss whether I was going to actually live. And in the interim time while I was in the hospital, we received, our family, literally bags of mail every single day from people that I'd only been on the job for 37 days. Talking about how it was great to have me and please get better, and just these words of wonderful admiration and respect and support. And I knew then, and my family knew then, because my kids and my wife would read these letters every day. We call it the morning reading. So the nurses and the doctors would get together to read all this incredible thing. And from that point forward, I knew that this company, this united family, had all the right stuff to roll out things like this Core 4 about caring. Their pride, their professionalism. It's a tough business. A lot of these folks have been around for a long time. They've lost a lot over the course of bankruptcies and all this corporate sort of repositioning. And so empathy is a natural thing for me. And in our business, I always tell, if you don't like people, this is probably not the work for you, because you really have to like them.
One other thing that we talked about was, when does the CEO, and I know that Tim Cook talked about this earlier, when does the CEO choose to take a stand either on behalf of him or herself or of their company? And there have been a couple of issues, like separation of families, that you've taken a stand on as a company, and I feel like you've told me that you've had the support of your staff on that. But maybe talk a little bit about those decisions of when to come out, when to take a stand, and how to enact it.
You have to know who your family is. And from day one, I just described the experience I personally had with them and their outreach while I was sick. Post that, we spent probably a good course of almost a year creating our shared purpose and vision, which is connecting people and uniting the world. Now, to all of you reading, it's like, oh, those are nice, cute words. what they mean to us and our families, those were crafted from thousands of conversations, focus groups, where the belief and the pride of people was used in various words that eventually culminated in something called like connecting. You know, and it's not a physical connection, your flight on time from point A to point B. It's connecting people to the things that matter most. So it takes a different viewpoint. My job is not just to put you on a damn airplane and get out. It's to gently put you and get you to your destination. And then the second part, uniting the world, the sense of community, the sense of diversity that we know we are such a diverse company because of the way we operate, was a concept of doing good for social justice. So when issues come up, like the separation of children from their parents, I have no qualms and no concerns that my United family didn't support me 1,000% on something that easy. And so it is difficult in the positions we take, that we sit in sometimes, because it is sometimes seen as political or personal views. It really can't always be about that, but I know from my family what they believe, and so I'm actually quite easy to stand up for those things.
And tell us what you did to enact those values with the company, with the airline, a couple of the things that you did basically in helping to reunite families, in fact.
Well, so not only the separation, that we weren't going to fly people to separate them, but we took it a step further. Thank you for that. So with FWD.com, who helped us with this, we actually flew parents and kids to each other to reconnect. So we took it a step further, which is what we do for a living. That's an easy thing that I can do. And there are a myriad of causes and issues that have raised over the course of my stewardship of this great family that we've taken a little bit of heat of sometimes. But it's important because, again, I know it stands for the values of our company.
Well, I think that's a great place to end it. The values of the company sound pretty great to us.
All right. Great. Thanks,
Thank you, Oscar.